Sometimes, Fingers, you just got to throw the caution to the wind and you got to say, what the blank?
I thought I saw caution flying through the wind.
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker and part-time satirist, Fingers Malloy.
Part-time?
And we are smoking from Plasencia, the Ometepe. So, you know Plasencia, absolutely spectacular work with cigars. This is actually an Alma del Fuego, but it is done with an Ometepe wrapper. Ometepe refers to a region, an island that is off the coast of Nicaragua that has two volcanoes, and it's got this volcanic soil. Very often you'll see Ometepe, or I should say sometimes you'll see Ometepe in the binder, in the filler, but not usually in the wrapper. This is rare. A torpedo we are smoking 6.5 by 54, which means it's 6.5 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge is a 54, the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. So a 64 ring gauge would be a full 1 inch around. Box press into a torpedo, but a little different than the Shark, right? So if you know the Opus X, the Arturo Fuente Shark, it's a spectacular shape. This is a little more deliberate, I would say, but certainly still not easy to go from the box press into that torpedo shape and bringing it in. Beautifully done, and Fingers a rich brown, and you could see every part of that leaf.
Yeah, nice bit of oil on the wrapper as well. With this torpedo, I understand you can kind of adjust the draw. If you don't cut too much off and you feel like you're getting kind of a tight draw, you can cut a little bit more off of the cap. Right now I've got kind of a little bit of a tight draw, but I'm actually at this point enjoying it. Lots of really pleasant smoke coming off of this cigar.
You understand what Fingers is talking about there when you can decide the draw. The more shallow you go on the torpedo, on that cap where it comes to a point, it's going to intensify the draw. You have less area that you're coming in from, drawing in, bringing in to the palate to toast the palate. You cut further down, you're opening up the cigar itself. You're giving yourself more surface area to work with. You can have an easier draw. It really is, depending on to quote Billy Joel, a bottle of red, a bottle of white, all depends upon your appetite. I'll meet you anytime you want in our Italian restaurant.
Billy Idol?
That's right. Billy Idol said
I
that
love
right
Rebel
there.
Yell.
So it's really up to you. Some people would ask, well, is this a perfect time to bring out a V-cut on your second? I thought about that. I considered doing a V-cut for this, not wanting to waste any space of the cigar. And the reason for that is wait till you hear the price. But I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to go with a straight cut at the first. Be able to, if I haven't cut enough, I can add to it. Always start more shallow. That way you can cut more off if you need to, which is not a crime. It's not a problem. It's not wrong. It is a reason to have a good cutter. You could spend $4 for a lighter and be fine. Not so much so with a cutter. That's a place to spend your money. And you cut shallow, you can always cut a little bit more. You can't now put the cigar back. So I'm not going to do the V, which would cut into the cigar. I'm really going to try this, kind of go with how it was meant to be smoked. And then if on the next one, I'll try it different.
Not a fair question. I'm going to ask it anyway. Percentage-wise, how often do you think you do a V cut?
So if you had asked me this question 5 years ago, I would tell you 20% of the time. If you ask me now, I haven't done a V cut in 5 years.
Wow.
It just hasn't come up. I haven't had a want. I think that what we've been smoking and all the things, I've so wanted to try it in its quote unquote proper presentation that I've just gone with a straight cut. And I've gotten very, very used to it. And I just picked up a couple of lighters from the Opus X Society. Daddy went shopping. But I don't have a V cutter. If you look at that, I have a punch. I've got straight cutters. I'm really a fan of the butterfly kind of feel on a cutter. Xikar, Xikar, I think makes a spectacular one under $100. I think you should start there if you're in any way serious about smoking and really kind of trying it. But I don't have a V. But it never comes. Do you?
No, I don't have a cutter that will provide me with a V.
Right now?
No, that's okay.
V cutters are us.
I think I've only used a V cutter maybe twice. But I'm just starting to get used to the idea of having a more expensive cutter because to me, too often cutters have been like sunglasses where I'll set them down somewhere and then forget to pick them up when I leave.
Did I get this for you?
You sure did.
Did I buy you this gift?
Yes.
I didn't realize, like, because his is red. It's like a matte red, but the blade is like almost like a black glass. Mm-hmm. I did not remember that.
Yeah,
I would never
cool.
give you something that nice.
Right?
That is very, very nice. But that you do need to spend the money on a cutter, not the lighter. The lighter is for art. The cutter is for purpose, and therefore you need to spend on it because the purpose is not wasting the money you spent on the cigar. Which brings us, Fingers Malloy, back to the Ometepe from Plasencia, the Alma del Fuego. You want to get your notebooks out. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? What's the weather like, right? We've had a gorgeous week in Indianapolis, Indiana, where we record no humidity, low temperatures, low 70s. It has been a dream. Then what did you eat? What did you drink? It affects the palate. Affects how you taste the cigar. Then take the cigar in your mind and break it up into thirds. First third, second third, final third. Write down your flavor notes. Write them down. And then when you try that cigar a month from now, 6 months from now, whenever it is, you do it again, compare the notes. You'll see the through lines. What did you pick up again and again and again? That's what you thought of the cigar. That's where your palate is. We're just into the first third of this cigar. We just lit up as we started the show. And you talked about the pleasant smoke, Fingers. If there is a spice contingent, I think it is rather slight. If there's a wood component, I think it is rather slight. I think there's a luscious nuttiness going on that almost is almost to a point of cream, but that is a flavor that is riding the edge of nutty coffee berry. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at.
See, I have you mentioned spice. I mean, very slight pepper, maybe.
Right there, just bloop.
Yeah, and I would have said a creaminess and then maybe a touch of leather. But yeah.
Okay, I talk about a lusciousness. You see it as leather. I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So far, so good. I mean, it's wonderful. So far, so lovely.
But it's going to be a while before we figure out if it's in our humidor at $100 a stick.
I'm sorry?
Fingers Malloy. Daddy went shopping.
Wow.
This is a $100 cigar from Plasencia, the Alma del Fuego Special Edition Ometepe, 6.5 by 54. So smoke slow, kitten.
Did it come with a back rub or something?
I don't think it has anything to do with buying the cigar, but the answer happens to be yes. Is it in the humidor? Well, that's something we're going to have to figure out. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. And be sure to get the podcast wherever it is you get podcasts. Subscribe today. I can't handle one more story about coffee because everybody wants to pretend that the other guy doesn't know what they're doing and coffee is bad for you. No, wait, coffee is good for you. No, wait, it's a problem. Here's why. No, wait, it's going to help your heart. No, wait, it's going to kill you. No, wait, it's going to actually give you multiple hour orgasms. I cannot keep up. What?
You can't keep up with the multiple orgasms? Is that what you said?
I can't believe you just said that on radio. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. You have to admit, it seems like every week we get another story. When it comes to coffee, it's good for you, it's bad for you, it's this, it's that. It's ridiculous.
It is. That and alcohol, too. Oh, a couple of glasses of wine a few times a week. You'll live to be 150. Don't touch a drop of alcohol. You'll die tomorrow.
It's frustrating. And you have to take the Fingers Malloy approach to all these things, which is saying, and I'm going to try and do it. You got to take your right hand and like you're swatting at a fly that isn't there. Just start at eye level and put the fingers near the eye and then swat like away. You don't want to hit the eye, just away. Just go, yeah. Like that. Yeah.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, he's actually doing it.
Yeah. There should be yeah.
See, I thought you were going to say one. You know, there are two things I always say when it comes to how you should live a full and complete life. One, live, laugh, love.
Right.
And two, YOLO.
That is who you are.
That's who I
but
am.
you don't pay attention to any of these things. You just do what you do, and you don't care.
75% of the food that I consume is purchased from a gas station. I'm 60 pounds overweight. Do I look like I care, Tony?
60 pounds.
Yeah, 60.
Oh, someone's doing well on the new car. Are you doing carnivore? Are you carb free?
Yeah. For the last 6 hours, I've been carb free.
Caffeine is having a moment, says Food and Wine, not for the best reasons. The drug has been linked to 2 deaths after it showed up in large quantities in a since discontinued lemonade offering from chain bakery Panera Bread. Okay, that's not a coffee story, although it did start with a conversation about caffeine where most people get their coffee. It is possible that if there is some level of infused drink, maybe, and I don't know all the intricacies here, and I'm not saying Panera Bread did anything wrong because I don't want to get sued. There could be a thing. It's like energy drinks. I wouldn't be surprised if there are kids out there that have real issues from downing multiple energy drinks.
Absolutely.
An hour.
Because they're delicious.
Are they?
Oh.
I've never had one. As I've often said, I've never had any.
Tony,
I won't do it.
live a little.
No. The last thing you need from me is Tony Katz on an energy drink.
I want to hear you say YOLO just once. Just once.
I'll say it.
With an energy drink in your hand. There's this one energy drink. I'm not going to mention the brand name because they are not a sponsor of Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Doesn't rhyme with Red Bull?
No.
Prime?
No.
Monster?
Yes.
Okay.
They have one. It's orange. It tastes fantastic. I could drink 6 of them if I wasn't concerned about my health.
See, so in that, I get it. That can be too much caffeine and you feel jittery and all these kinds of things. It is different than the people who say caffeine is bad for you. We have to measure the thing. And I feel that in America, we don't. We lose our minds and we immediately say, caffeine problem is caffeine. Oh my gosh, too much caffeine. Coffee is good. I think that 12 cups of coffee a day might give you the jitters.
Yes.
You might end up acting like Kramer on Seinfeld.
Giddy up.
But to say that all of a sudden, that therefore one shouldn't have coffee and go to extremes, that's what people do. Extremes are nonsense.
Do you feel that you are addicted to coffee?
No.
Like
I can stop anytime I want.
Uh-huh.
What? What? Hold on. Let me grab my coffee right here. Oh, sweet. You come here, sweetie. Get in there.
Oh, everyone loves a Sanka. But
pure postum.
do you feel like, have you ever attempted to give up coffee? To give it up?
You understand, I didn't drink coffee on a regular basis until I had children.
Same.
I did not and I was in my 30s when I had kids. I didn't drink coffee at all. I drank coffee when I was in a diner eating a turkey club because for whatever it's so stupid, I know. The turkey club and diner coffee created in the mouth parts such perfection of flavor and texture. I cannot describe it. I could if you want to go to Jersey right now,
Okay.
right now, I'm in the car. That's what I would order. Love it. Love it. Like, I would never have mayonnaise in my regular life, but I don't care what they put on that thing. It could have been made with mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, 1 strip of bacon, 2 pieces of turkey. I've been like, this is what I've dreamt of my whole life.
Wow.
Love that. It was only when I had children that I started drinking coffee. And now, most days, it's one. I do it in a thermal, right? It's 1. Mm-hmm. When I have a lot of late night work, it's 2, but it's usually not more than that.
So I didn't start drinking coffee until I had kids as well. And I drank in the morning on a weekday a huge, you've seen my Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah, you got the thing. You got the tub of coffee.
Yeah. But when I really started getting into coffee was when I would watch football on a Sunday morning, and I would drink a whole pot throughout the whole day.
While you're watching football?
Yeah, 12 cups. Yeah.
It doesn't even make any sense.
Well, you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, you start watching the pregame shows. You pour yourself a cup of Joe.
You watch all the pregame shows?
I used to. I don't watch them anymore.
Is that just because you've gotten tired and you don't want to wake up that early?
No, when you have a good football team, you don't need to watch the pregame shows
hell.
anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not fully aware, Fingers Malloy from Saginaw, Michigan, as the kids say, Saginawesome.
That's right.
Is a lifelong diehard, not of the bandwagon, Detroit Lions fan. How about a little rendition of the Detroit Lions fight song?
Forward down the field, a charging team that will not yield. That's enough.
One more verse.
And when the blue and silver wave.
Okay, that's it.
Stand and cheer the brave.
And then what do you follow that up with?
Rah, rah, rah.
He is a huge Detroit Lions fan. He has the Detroit Lions tattoo upon the right arm, and he has suffered these many years. And then to see the Lions go to the NFC Championship and blow it against the San Francisco 49ers must have been very distressing. And now, this week, the high-flying Honolulu Blue of the Detroit Lions, your Detroit Lions, have been picked to do it all and win the Super Bowl. How are you feeling about that?
Not surprised at all. I mean, when you're the cream of the crop, Tony, people recognize just how good you are as an organization. The best football town in America is Detroit, Michigan. You know it. The Latvians knew it. The Russians knew it. Now Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation knows it.
You would give Dan Campbell a foot rub, wouldn't you?
No, I would not. Let's not get crazy. He'd get a fist bump. That's about it.
So the point is, drink coffee.
Dan Campbell is fully caffeinated.
Fully caffeinated and totally fine and leading his team to a Super Bowl. Don't let these people drive you crazy. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Get the podcast wherever it is you get podcasts if you don't already have it already. And subscribe and tell your friends. Eat, Drink, Smoke. eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Smoking from Plasencia, the Alma del Fuego Ometepe, with that Ometepe wrapper that's grown in volcanic soil into the first third of this cigar. 6.5. Is it 6 1/4 or 6.5 by 54?
I thought you said 6.5.
I think I should say I did. I think I did say 6.5. I was just double checking. Yes, I was right. You were right. We're right. 6.5 by 54. This is a very, very nice cigar. This is building well. That spice is, just it's just a sprinkling for me. It really is. Kind of middle tongue, width of the tongue. There's just a pronounced nuttiness with a slight chewy, creamy back. Is it? You had said leather. I think that's not a bad way to look at it. It's just striking me a little bit differently.
You're talking me into walnut.
Am I?
Yes, you are. That spice, that I don't know, more like a pepper. It's picking up a little bit for me, but not really all that much. A creaminess and almost like a walnut. And nothing really hitting you all that strong. Everything's just kind of subtle. It's very nice.
Yeah, but so subtle is true, but that doesn't mean that it's not flavorful. That's not there. It is. I think you could argue a little bit subdued. It's blended well. This is playing a little bit too bright, right? This is a bit of an upbeat cigar, and it's not overly rich. It's not overly powerful. This is a medium through and through on this the Ometepe special edition from Plasencia, the Alma del Fuego.
I just wanted to be what I meant by subtle. There's not one of these notes really like packs up a huge punch.
Correct. It's playing well.
Yeah.
It's playing smoothly. It's balanced out in that way. I guess I'm just about done with the first third here. Going to be heading towards the second third. I can right now get a touch more of that spice building up, but not in an overwhelming way. So far, very, very nice. $100 a stick. 100 people. That's 1 followed by 2 zeros. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Certainly, being Ometepe, coming out of that soil, makes it rare, makes it harder to work with. I get why they're charging it. It's special. And by the way, you should see basically the humidor it comes in. The box that it comes in is absolutely, positively gorgeous. A sight to behold. But I'm not so sure yet about $100 a stick.
You know what? As we went to break in the first segment, when you posed the question, is this in your humidor at $100 a stick? It struck me the first 2 humidors I purchased were less than $100. So,
yeah. And you know why? They were your first 2?
Yes.
Because each one was less than $100. You gotta, again, we were talking about cutters earlier. There are places where you have to spend. It's not in a lighter. You can get decorative things, artistic things, beautiful things. A cutter, absolutely. You want a clean cut. You don't want to have it mess up your cigar and the mouthfeel. And then if you're going to be holding cigars, you got to store them properly. And you got to have a humidor that makes sense.
It does make a huge difference. And, like you said, listen, you don't have to spend $1,000 on a humidor, but my goodness, when you're spending the kind of money on cigars that you could be spending on, you need to store them properly, and you're going to feel awfully sick if you don't store them properly and they're ruined.
Yeah. You will cry. You will openly weep if they're overly dry. You forgot about them, or overly humid, and other things happen, mold happens, etc. You'll hate yourself. Remember, distilled water at all times. You can use the glycine propol, the mix that you can sometimes get, the gel, things like that, Boveda packs if you choose. But if you're using water, distilled only. Otherwise, you've got a mold problem.
Can I tell you, I've got a pretty nice humidor now, and I pulled a cigar out the other day that I got from a shop, and I was terrified. I thought I may have tobacco beetles.
Oh, no, really?
Oh, I flipped out. And I looked at the cigar, and I remembered I had a cigar that they made that was a barber pole, and how the wrapper kind of peeled really easily. Like it felt like it was extra thin. And I was like, well, now that I look at this really closely, and boy, I pulled all the shelves of my humidor out and examined all my cigars. No other cigar had this, and there were like these little tiny holes that, well, not even holes, just places where the wrapper looked like it had worn away in circles. I freaked out.
All right, 2 things. First, I forgot how to pronounce things. It's not glycine propol. It's propylene glycol. I am a moron, and I apologize. So basically, it's a humidor solution. You can get it from a lot of different places, and people use that if you have like gel packs or things like that. And it's a nice way to help balance your humidor a little bit better. Was it tobacco beetles?
No, it was not. It was just maybe I would not. I don't like to criticize, and I won't mention the name. Probably wasn't the highest quality cigar in the world.
We will not mention it. We shan't mention it. And by the way, it is what it is. Remember, you're dealing with a product that comes from the ground. It's everything is possible. I have smoked many cigars, and that's just today. And maybe once, really once, in my entire cigar smoking career, have I come across a tobacco beetle. Okay. It doesn't happen all the time. There have to be certain characteristics, certain things that are happening with the cigar to make that happen. We'll get into it another day because it can be pretty gross.
Yeah.
Pretty gross to discuss. It is time, Fingers Malloy, for News of the Week.
Okay.
Oh, come on. You can't start with that kind of sigh.
I'm not going to do the bad news story. I'm going to do a good news story, a fun story, Tony.
Yay.
There was over at the Hyatt Regency, Morristown, a casting call for Happy Gilmore 2, Tony, for extras, and over 1,500 people showed up because they wanted to be an extra in the new Happy Gilmore movie. Are you excited, Tony? If the casting call would have been in Central Indiana, would you have said, I need to go down to the Hyatt Regency and I want to be an extra in the new Happy Gilmore movie? Please tell me you've seen Happy Gilmore.
When I was a young man, there was a casting call. I lived in Jersey. There was a casting call for The Sopranos.
Oh,
And I went.
yeah.
And I came across a line of people, fat white guys in suits and white capizios. And I left. And I said, I clearly am not as committed to the part as these people are committed to the part. Happy Gilmore is the stuff of legend. Adam Sandler says he's very happy with this script, happy with this film, that it is going to be, he hasn't been this excited about a project in a while. I believe I have seen Happy Gilmore because I know the story. I know Shooter McGavin. I know everything. I don't know if I've just seen it in clips or I've seen the whole thing. I think I've seen the whole thing. I just don't remember when it was. I know the movie and Bob Barker and all the jazz. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good with
You
that.
can just open up Instagram at this point and watch the whole movie based on clips that people have posted on the kids call it IG.
Is that what they call it?
Yes, but what did you say people were wearing at the Sopranos?
The white capizios.
What is that? Are
That's a
those
shoe.
Shoes? Oh,
That's a shoe. White
Did they
capizio.
have a? Do they have a buckle on them? What?
No, capizios don't have a buckle. It's just a shoe. It was a jersey thing. Maybe it was more than a jersey thing.
Just a jersey thing.
How you doing? And that was it. Everyone's like, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
It's the kind of place where you would get a turkey club with a hot cup of coffee.
Nope, not these people.
Oh, no.
These people, they wanted some men of God. They were not a turkey club. Who gets a turkey club? Your mother gets a turkey club. That's who gets a turkey club. What you give me a little pasta fajoule. We're gonna sit like men. What are we gonna do? We're not gonna. You get the gabagool. You get a half a pound of that, and you get a couple of those things over there, and bibbidi bobbidi boop done. There was a lot of that.
I learned so much from this.
Send
show.
your hate mail to fingers@eatdrinksmokeshow.com. If I were to be asked, my biggest retirement regret, Fingers Malloy, it's that I didn't start earlier for retirement.
What age would you have wanted to start retirement?
12.
There it is.
Tea, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. The story over at Yahoo Finance. A YouTuber doing all YouTuber kind of things, that's known as a content creator, asked Americans aged 70 to 80 what their biggest retirement regrets were. And here is the list. Are you ready, Fingers Malloy?
I'm so ready to retire.
You are a man who is poised for retirement. You are hoping for retirement. You would go right now if they let you.
Who says I haven't already?
I honestly don't know. I don't even know what you do. I know you do this, and then every now and again, you show up in my dreams.
That's true. But what can I do to put you in this timeshare today?
That's a great question. Regret number one, wish they had retired earlier.
At 12?
At 12. The issue here is you may want to retire earlier, but do you feel like you had the dollars to do so?
I think in a lot of ways, for a lot of people, retirement is terrifying. Because as you of course want to be able to retire and relax, but also the idea of not having that constant stream of income from your job can be nerve-wracking unless you know you're fully prepared.
Is it the not having the income from your job or fearing you're going to live so long you run out of the money?
I think there's that, and also I think there is a loss of identity when people retire. Like so much of their identity is wrapped up in their career.
Yeah, I think that is. I don't have that. Right? You and I are both radio hosts. We both do a bunch of public things. But if my radio career ended today, right now, we were just literally yanked off the air like it was a hook from Showtime at the Apollo, my life is not in that. Right? I love what I do. I like having an impact. I like being able to share ideas and concepts and storytelling these things, but it isn't who I am. It's something that I get joy out of. So I would miss that. But I a father, a husband, a person, a guy with thoughts and ideas wanting to share with friends, these are the things that move me. I mean, how many times have I said to you, the only thing I want to do with my life is eat steak, smoke cigars, be with my wife, and talk to smart people about smart things. Like that is the totality. I don't want to golf. I do like a hike, but I only like a hike. I love the other things.
We need to get you on a golf course, though.
I don't know. I don't think I would enjoy it. The act of swinging a club is so outrageously unnatural that after the first swing, I'm like, wow, I hit the ball. I'm done.
See, but there's so much more to it. Riding around in the cart, having a nice adult beverage on a beautiful day, surrounded by nature, with a nice cigar.
I can do all that without hitting a ball.
Of course you can.
Right. That's the point. I can do all that without hitting a ball, so don't tell me I have to hit the ball, but I'll go with you. If you want me to go to the course with you, you want to just hit 9, a quick 9, hit the back 9, what do they say there about the 9?
Yes.
Number 9?
Yes.
I'll go. I will go. And I'll say things like, great shot, Fingers. I wasn't even paying attention. I'll just say it. I'll just randomly yell it out.
And I'll be like, Tony, you're looking at your phone.
And other times we'll be like, I just went to the bathroom. Great shot. That's all I'll do. Number 2, regret. They wish they had spent more when they first retired. That's the fear thing. That's the fear thing of running out of money.
Yeah. I've had this discussion with Fingers Malloy Sr., where I'm like, listen, Fingers Malloy Sr. is not rolling in dough, but he's
That's what you think.
Right, exactly. But the things where he doesn't spend money on where I know he can afford, I'm like, Dad, what are you doing here? You have the money. I'm not saying go out and buy a Bentley, but there are certain things. It's like, just spend the money.
Like
enjoy yourself.
What is the thing he should spend the money on?
Travel. He enjoys travel, but when I tell him what the cost of a hotel room is, in 2024, he's like, "You gotta be kidding me!" It's like, yeah, it does cost a pretty penny every once, but you have it. And this was hard for me to accept, Tony, but there's more to life than what's in Saginaw, Michigan. And I love Saginaw.
To quote Avenue Q, there is life outside your apartment.
Yes.
Avenue Q is a musical.
Oh.
Regret number 3. God, I hate you so much. They wish they took better care of their health. I think specifically, they wish they took better care of their teeth. The amount of people in their 70s and 80s I know complaining about dentures, complaining about teeth, and having to go to the dentist is going to bankrupt everybody. This is the thing. If you aren't flossing, kids, get started right away. You should be flossing at least 17 times a day. Mm-hmm. You should be rinsing with Listerine morning, noon, and night. As a matter of fact, you should only eat clear foods. Like, the teeth thing is the thing, man.
And that's one of the things as you get older, you think you can get by on. Just, I'm just going to brush really well. And because going to the dentist, if you don't have dental insurance, can be very expensive, especially if you're on a fixed income.
Brutal. This list of things that people in their 70s and 80s regret about retirement, traveled more, is on that. You got to travel while your knees still work. You got to travel while you could still, not have to run to a bathroom. And you're like, that's gross. Are we talking about real life here? Or are we just going to pretend like everything's going to work all the time?
That, and also you lose confidence in driving as you get a certain age. And whether it's driving at night or driving in parts of the country that you're not familiar with. So that's another thing where people just start to close down and just stay in their bubble and don't want to get out.
This one makes me sad. Wish they had taken up a hobby. That's a reason to golf. I have never once said that there's not a reason to do that. There's a reason people golf. Some people do it to get away from their spouse. Some people, the spouses, do it together. Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
It's totally true. But it doesn't have to be golf. It could be model ships in a bottle.
Yes. I know a lot of people, growing up in Michigan, who work in the factory. Right. Automotive industry, of course, huge in Michigan. And I can't tell you how many people I ran into, where I heard later on, they worked and worked and worked in the factory. They retired. They had nothing outside of the factory. And within 3 years, they were dead.
That is very true. People who don't have something to keep the brain going, it all just goes, you fall apart. Purpose matters. It cannot be said enough. Whether it's a job, whether it's volunteering, whether it's having an impact, I think is actually part of it too. It's a hobby is one thing, but having some level of impact, whether that's contributing to someone's life or with friends contributing to your own life, right? But without it, you just fall apart. And I think that's true about happiness in younger generations. I think that is very, very true.
I also think when you talk about retirement planning, it's all about financial for the most part, but people don't seem to think, well, I also have to have a plan for what I'm going to do after I retire. And it can't all be leisure. It needs to be some sort of purpose, like you talk about. Okay, what is my purpose when I retire? I think that's important.
But the problem is going back to the idea of, is your job your identity?
Yeah.
It can't be. It can't be, because when the job is gone, I think part of when I talk about it in radio, if you're in this business long enough, you're going to lose your job. It's nothing you did. Things change. The industry changes. Needs change. Wants change. Station ownership changes. It's very fluid like that. So I think I knew from the beginning that you can't make this your identity, because that it can be taken from you without you taking it from yourself. So you got to have identity outside of the gig. I think that's absolutely accurate. Fingers Malloy with the good advice there. The pairing of cigars and rum does not get done enough, but it's a good pairing. It's a very, very good pairing, and we're not talking about the old school college days, shots of Bacardi 151 kind of rum. We're talking about sipping rum. We're talking about rum that is crafted, that people took some time with, and we admittedly love Bumbu. B-U-M-B-U. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. The sugarcane and Bumbu rum, it's from the Barbados, Belize, Brazil, Costa Rica. It is at the West Indies Rum Distillery in Barbados. Column distilled, aged in first fill Kentucky bourbon casks for up to 15 years. You don't have to go 15 years for a rum. You can do nearly anything you want, and you can use those bourbon casks after they're used for bourbon, because bourbon can only be used once. First use charred oak barrel for bourbon, and then after that, well, it gets used for anything, Irish whiskey or a scotch or rum or a whole host of things. Bumbu is really and truly delicious. B-U-M-B-U. It's a unique bit of spice hit. It's got that vanilla, that banana. It's delicious, Fingers Malloy. Bumbu is delicious.
Absolutely. And, we gravitate normally when we do our reviews to bourbon and rye, and maybe we need to consider doing more rum.
I'm willing to consider it. I have considered it. I'm totally in. I'm totally down with that. But we are not reviewing Bumbu rum, B-U-M-B-U, because in between us putting the show together, I happened to grill up some steaks. Got some prime top sirloins. I was actually at Costco. There was a deal. Grilled them up in this kind of like zesty orange thyme seasoning. They were terrific. They were fantastic and needed something a little after dinner. And you can absolutely and should go to a bourbon to do that. But today we went to a cream. Bumbu Crème Liqueur. So it is the Bumbu rum mixed with other spices and dairy cream. It looks like a Bailey's.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. We've got it neat in the rocks glass, and we go to the nose, Fingers Malloy. Oh, so understand, we're smoking a Plasencia Alma del Fuego cigar. It's a $100 cigar. We did just do steaks, and now we get to finish our cigar with a little bit of the Bumbu cream. This comes in at 30 proof, Fingers. Oh. No applause. I'm sorry. We only applaud for things. Fingers only applauds for things over 100 proof. You found this, and you said, I believe the expression was, come to Poppy.
That's exactly what I said.
That's what I thought you said.
Because, over the holidays, I do enjoy Irish cream. And then Buffalo Trace, I noticed last year they had bourbon cream. I don't know if that's seasonal or if you could still buy that in the middle of summer. Really enjoyed the bourbon cream. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, rum cream. Sign me up.
Sign me up. Now, you can do this rocks or you can do this neat. You can keep it in the fridge, however it is you like to do it. We've had this at room temperature. We have poured it in our rocks glass. That nose is sweet. That nose, oddly enough, it's not like you get a big alcohol hit or a big rum hit. There's an undercurrent there.
It's almost like an eggnog.
Dude, don't steal my lines. It is totally eggnoggy. And I think that has to do with the spices that they use and how they connect. But fingers, there's only one way to figure this out. You ready for this?
Oh, Tony, I've been ready for this all day.
The Bumbu Crème Liqueur is what we are sipping after our steaks and with our cigar. I don't know how it's going to play with the cigar. I really don't. Fingers Malloy is doing the Kentucky Chew, moving it around the palate. That's what you want to do with a bourbon or a rye. You really want to get an idea of the flavors. Sometimes it's 2 sips. The first one to set the taste buds. The second sip to really figure out what it is you're tasting. Fingers, do you need a crazy straw and perhaps a bed?
Listen, if you have a huge steak and you've consumed it and you have a sweet tooth, but you don't want dessert.
By the way, you probably ate a 12-ounce sirloin right there. That is probably a 12-ounce sirloin. Yeah,
probably.
So it's a fair-sized steak.
And 12 ounces of sweet potato fries.
Yes, there were definitely 12 ounces of sweet potato fries. Some grilled onions.
This is wonderful to cure the sweet tooth. It has, of course, that cream, that eggnoggy feel to it. But there is a little heat to it. And also, there's coconut. So if you are not a coconut, but the coconut isn't, overly strong.
It's not pronounced?
No, pronounced. Oh, look at you.
Daddy read a dictionary.
I got to tell you. I got to tell you, I'm very happy. I'll be interested to see, but if do you like coconut?
I don't mind it in moderation.
Some people really hate it.
I know. It's like avocados. Some people hate avocados. And I'm fine with that because it means more for me.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the Bumbu Crème Liqueur made with the Bumbu rum, according to some, aged for almost 20 years. First in the ex-bourbon barrels and then in ex-sherry barrels. So this is some old rum going in, some well-aged rum going into this Bumbu Crème Liqueur. Here I go.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting some of that spice from the Bumbu cream.
Eat my chair. Oh. Okay. I actually want to put it on a cube.
Okay.
I'm going to regret. First of all, it does have a little bit of an eggnog thing, but it does have a spice. Now, what's weird is the spice is actually clove. That's the flavor. But it isn't. It's there. It's pronounced, but not overwhelming. That's the way I would say it. Like it's there. It's not overwhelming. I almost want to bring that down just a touch, just a little bit. It's the rum that is underplayed. The rum itself, like I guess you're kind of expecting that hit to come through. Like if you've got bourbon in your eggnog, you're expecting that to come through.
And maybe I don't know about you. Maybe I don't drink enough rum. Maybe a rum drinker would sip on that and go, "Oh, there it is." But when I have the bourbon cream, I hit the bourbon. The bourbon hits me. I mean, I could definitely get that note here.
Not so much.
Yeah.
And it's weird. At the first sip, you get that coconut that you're talking about, which I think is a very adept pickup. And then it gets a touch clovey, and that is not bad. That's wonderful. That is wonderful because it's a different interpretation of something you've done a million times. This is Bailey's for grown-ups. I think that's the best way to describe it. The Bumbu the cream, the Bumbu Crème Liqueur. Fingers Malloy, what did you pay for this bottle? Is it in your liquor cabinet?
I think $29.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the answer is yes. Oh, do that for the holidays for Arbor Day instead of the Baileys. I'm not opposed to Baileys, and see what people think. The Bumbu Crème Liqueur, BUMBU. Keep it here. So are craft distilleries about to have the you-know-what hit the fan? It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. It was the craze. It was the thing to do. You opened up a distillery. Everybody wanted the craft spirits. They all wanted it. And now we're hearing that there is a problem. And you have Thomas Mooney, founder and CEO of Westward Whiskey, former American Craft Spirits Association president, saying that there is a chasm between producers and consumers, and what they're talking about is the system of distribution. So this is a great example of government getting in the way. When somebody goes to sell a spirit, they do not sell it direct, although certainly you can go to, for example, the Bourbon Trail, and you can buy things directly from a distillery. They cannot sell out to the marketplace that way, or restaurants and bars, et cetera. They go through distributors. And because of that, if you are a small producer trying to grow, it is difficult to get the distribution that would be necessary to do so. The issue, as described, it's not for a lack of trying, it's a lack of access. And that is a horrifying and infuriating line, Fingers Malloy.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is due to COVID, but, Food and Wine had the story, and one of the money quotes here is distribution outlets have consolidated by more than 30%. Meanwhile, the number of products have exploded. So you got more product, but less people to distribute it. That's a huge problem.
But the problem is created by having this middleman situation,
Sure,
as opposed to letting people go about getting their product out directly. Using the example of the car dealership. Why can't Ford sell directly from Ford? This was the Tesla question. Why in the world is there a dealership model? I'm not opposed to dealerships, ladies and gentlemen. I in my town of Indianapolis, I have a sponsorship deal with a dealership. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Good people. Lovely people. Happy to throw them the plug right there. I like repping them. I like who they are. I like the people. I have purchased a new and used car from them in my life. I've had service done with them. Right? No issue. None. But if I'm asking, as a guy who believes in a free market, for what reason can Ford not sell directly to the American consumer? Why do we have that middleman? That's the distribution conversation.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too, because so much of when it comes to alcohol laws were impacted by COVID, where government actually took a step back in a lot of states and said, okay,
that is correct.
It's okay for restaurants to sell you your margaritas to go and package it if you're doing a
Growlers,
DoorDash.
bottles of wine, bottles of bourbon, all of it.
But for some reason, this move wasn't made. And you wonder if they just aren't lobbying effectively, or if there's just politicians that are just set in their ways that they do not want this to happen.
And the other part of it is you take the distributors that are out there, and it's I don't work with distributors, and neither do you. So maybe there are 9 million horror stories out there, and then you'd have to hear the other side of the horror story because you'd have to suss out where the truth does lie. But if Southern Glazer, for example, as the story from Food and Wine points out, holds 36% market share across wine and spirits, you have to work with them. And now are they deciding your pricing and deciding whether or not they talk about you, whether or not you get shelf space? So you're not selling to the consumer at that stage of the game. You're selling to a distributor that holds the keys to the castle. And how do you grow in that scenario?
And they're kingmakers.
Right.
It's not the market deciding what bourbon, what rye, whatever, pick whatever spirit you want to pick is being introduced to the market in a large way. A lot of times it's distributors that maybe hey, we've always gone with John's Fish Chips and bourbon. We're going to keep going with them. Fantastic distillery, by the way.
Is that?
Yeah. And so it hurts these small distillers. And it's a shame because as we've experienced, whether it's with spirits or with craft beer, there's so many good products out there that are made locally that may not survive this.
And when you hear this story and you hear about the distributors and you understand some of the challenges, is it any wonder that any distiller who connects with a celebrity? Because it guarantees the access. And so now you're playing a whole different game. You're not playing a let product get out there and let people try it. You're playing this is the stuff that guarantees I move X number of units regardless of the product. Now, if you're the distributor, that makes perfect sense to you. And I'm not saying no to that methodology. What is going to allow me to move product and therefore make profit, therefore keep the business running, make my shareholders happy, etc.? Rational argument, rational point of view. But it is preventing other people from getting to market. So I go back, and maybe this is the libertarian in me. I think it would be arguably a conservative principle if we were going to argue it politically. But for what reason do we allow the middleman to make such a call over the future of the small business owner?
Because it's always been that way, Tony.
I'm going to punch you right in the neck.
No, it's frustrating. Matt, you go on vacation and you're traveling through Nevada and you find this local distiller and you're flying home and you're like, well, hey, I'd like to go home and order your product to ship to me directly. Chances are you're not going to be able to do that.
And that's referred to as DTC, direct to consumer. Wineries have legal interstate shipping in 47 states plus the District of Columbia. Distilleries only have that right in 8 states. And that's the problem. So they did a survey, this from Food and Wine Magazine or foodandwine.com, the 2023 direct-to-consumer spirits shipping report. 86% of regular craft spirits drinkers would be likely to try a new spirit from a distillery if they could purchase from a DTC via direct-to-consumer. And 82% say direct-to-consumer say it should be legalized. 78% say they would be more likely to try products from out-of-state producers as a result. Of course.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, who's being protected here? I mean, if you're talking to people in the market, how many people are really, if you're a consumer, are going to say, you know what, I don't want to be able to order a bottle from my favorite distillery and have it shipped directly to me?
So this is a control conversation. And this is not only control over the marketplace, but control over consumer decisions. I don't know how I'm supposed to be in favor of that. I don't know. I don't know why we still go down this road, but I think it's a very, very big fight if we're talking about changing this methodology. You talk about this is the way we've always done it. This is the way people have been able to create a financial lockdown on the situation. And that is a hard thing to break. I don't know why I'm not in favor of breaking it. And I would love to hear the other side of the argument. But I want to be able to try what I want to be able to try, and I think I should be able to, because if I can buy anything from Amazon, I should be able to do it from a distillery. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. And don't forget to get the podcast, if you don't already get it, wherever it is you get podcasts, we are there. Name a platform, boom. Eat, Drink, Smoke is there. Just look for Eat, Drink, Smoke. Hit subscribe, download everything, and tell all your friends. We are drinking the Bumbu Crème Liqueur. That's 30% alcohol by volume. I was going to put it to a rock and then decided, no, I'm not going to put it. I'm not just going to, I'm going to further take in the flavors that this has. This is a nice after dinner, and we had top sirloins, prime top sirloins, grilled rare with some grilled onions and some sweet potato fries. Fantastic. Fantastic this is.
It's been a good evening.
Yeah, not so bad.
No, it's not at all. And this is new to me as far as, when I have a bourbon cream or if I have eggnog, I usually do have it on the rocks.
I'll go get you a cube.
No. I don't want you to do that.
Good, because I don't think I can get up.
The more I sip on this, I'm getting more of a cinnamon on the finish. There's coconut,
Really?
a little bit of cinnamon. Boy, this is really good. And again, if you are a person that likes to have some sort of dessert after dinner, but you think to yourself, I can't eat a big piece of cheesecake right now, this really cures the sweet tooth.
So I don't get the cinnamon. I don't get that. But what if I were to say to you, this has a very pina colada feel without the tang, right? So no pineapple juice, but you think of the rest of it, the cream of coconut, the rum, it's got that kind of movement to it, but it also plays a bit like eggnog.
Yeah.
That is, coconut eggnog is the way to describe it. It is that rum back as opposed to what you usually think of in this kind of crème liqueur as a bourbon back or a whiskey back that really does make you rethink everything. So pina colada without the pineapple, creamy. That's yes, right?
Yes. Okay, I'll buy that. By the way, I did end up looking back, and I spent $32.99.
Not $29.99. No. $32.99.
It's still in my liquor cabinet.
There's not even a question. That is spectacularly good. The Bumbu rum is what they use. It's aged almost 20 years in the Bumbu Crème Liqueur, and that is wonderful. Great after dinner drink, and we've got it paired with this Plasencia Ometepe, the Alma del Fuego. So it's the Plasencia Alma del Fuego Ometepe. So the wrapper here is made with tobacco that is grown in volcanic soil, and around volcanic soil, it is. We're in the second third right now. The Bumbu certainly does make a couple of changes to the cigar and some of the flavors that we're getting, but there was such a nuttiness. You almost got a walnut as you were describing it, Fingers. That what is connecting is you referred to it as leather. I referred to it as almost like a thick cream undercurrent, almost like a chewy cream undercurrent in this cigar. It is actually pairing very, very nicely with the Bumbu, which is really unexpected. I'm telling you, rum, not necessarily as a crème liqueur, but rum is a great pairing with a cigar. This is working. This is working very, very well.
So there's that little bit of spice from the Bumbu cream. Is it bringing out spice for you in the cigar as well?
Oh, I don't think that.
No,
I don't think that. As a matter of fact, if I'm going to argue I'm more pronounced on something with the cigar, I'm more pronounced in that nutty flavor.
Okay.
It is enhanced that chew. By the way, it's a very good cigar. And because of the Ometepe, because of that wrapper, this cigar is $100 a stick. And because of that, you can only afford $32.99 for the Bumbu. This is not an everyday cigar. This cigar could be something that I smoked every day. There's something very, very enjoyable going on here.
Oh, yeah.
This is a well-done stick. Plasencia makes brilliant cigars. The construction on this is perfect. Maybe I could have asked for it to be a little bit heavier in the hand. Maybe. But the box press torpedo we've got going on right here, I like the way it feels. 6.5 by 54 is this cigar, 54 ring gauge. I get that chewy cream back with the nuttiness a little bit more pronounced. Not so much an extra spice hit. I think what I'm getting is that coconut to clove thing is actually helping the cigar. That's where I'm at.
Fair enough. I mean, but the $100. Listen, I think it's great that people can spend that kind of money on a cigar. That's just not, as you would usually say, the world I play in.
Right.
But my goodness, if you had the money, I could see where this would be an everyday smoke.
Yeah, it comes in a box of 20. If you want to spend the $2,000, I'll be your friend. I'm just saying that it's not a cheap cigar. Oh. It is time, Fingers Malloy, for news of the week.
Oh, I have fantastic news for you, Tony.
I love fantastic news.
Most likely your Social Security number was stolen.
Oh.
I'm sure you covered this story about this huge hacking group that claims to have stolen nearly 3 billion personal records, including Social Security numbers. The group called the U.S. DOD stole the records from National Public Data, and there's a class action lawsuit involved in this. People need to be very concerned about identity theft.
Yet they're not. Things get stolen all the time. People have absolutely given up caring in the slightest. They don't. They just assume it's all going to work out and everything's fine. And if I could be so bold, Fingers, how do you keep up with it all? It's not like it was a hack of one specific bank. It's my social. That's everything. What do you want me to do? My social is in places I don't even know about. I haven't even thought about, and I wouldn't know how to get access to those places. Yeah. I have forgotten, long since forgotten. I'm screwed if I'm screwed. And I can't stand it. And the part of the problem is it completely desensitizes people to what these thefts mean, because if they can steal identities, they can steal reputations. They can absolutely ruin people. And we're left just in a place. We're just left in a place of saying, okay, if we're screwed, we're screwed, and we're going to have to fight through it at our own cost.
What's amazing is I freely admit I don't know much about the dark web. Don't know much about it.
You did not just bring that up on this show. You did not just bring up the dark web.
The dark web. But this hacking group reportedly tried to sell the data for $3.5 million. Listen, I'm shocked that the number was that low.
Right. Right?
Really. It's amazing. And then they ended up just posting it for free. You drove a hard bargain. I want $3.5 million. Well, nah, okay, nothing. Here you go. Take it. Wow.
They're very good at computers. They're very bad at negotiations. Very, very awful. I hate these hackers. I hate them with absolutely everything in me, with the passion of 10,000 suns. I want stronger and stiffer penalties for hacking. I want people to hurt. I want people to suffer. And by saying that, I am guaranteed now to be a target. But these people are awful. They are terrible. And if you find that it's foreign nations doing this, I want sanctions. I want penalties. I want hits. I want people to suffer. Learn that you can't have this happen. If you tell me, well, it's just some splinter group or whatever entity, go handle it or we'll handle you. That's the approach I want. Tell me I'm not alone.
If there's one thing that I believe in, Tony Katz, it's love.
Is that right?
That is right.
Do you live, laugh, and love?
I do. And it warms my heart to see two people join in matrimony.
Oh, that's a wedding. That's a marriage, if you didn't know.
Until I'm asked to pay to attend. And then we have a problem. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Fingers Malloy. Along with Tony Katz, find everything we do on our website, eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Tony, there was a story. It's covered by the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel.
Oh, those people don't lie.
The MJS, as I like to call it. Apparently, there was a story about a couple that caused social media outrage, Tony.
And as you know, Fingers Malloy spends days, nights, and weekends monitoring social media outrage and bringing it to us, only the freshest social media outrage comes to Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation.
It's a passion of mine.
It is.
It's a story of a New York couple.
Like macrame.
Yeah, it's true. They recently made national news when they came up with a creative way to pay for their $70,000 wedding.
Wow.
$70,000 wedding.
Admittedly, that's a lot of crab puffs. Mini egg rolls.
They had 2 cakes. They charged attendees.
Drake's and Hostess. According to Fingers, those are the only 2 cakes. Oh, and Little Debbie. You could have had 3.
Pepperidge Farms is the only cake.
4.
They charged attendees $333 each. Guests were provided with a ticket for a seat on the couple's rented double-decker bus featuring outside the nuptials a comprehensive 12-hour tour of New York City. This is insanity. Correct?
Let's start from the beginning. How old is this couple?
The age of the couple is not mentioned.
Okay,
To the MJ.
Just curious. Why is a wedding? Why does this involve a tour of New York? What is the point of that? Not a destination wedding, not for gifts, so I can pay to do a tour. Was the couple with me on the tour?
It does not say.
Wait. So the couple may not have been with me on the tour, yet I'm getting a 12 hour. I don't want a 12-hour tour of anything. There's maybe a cigar factory. Aside from that, 12 hours.
I can't think of a better way to spend $300 than buying a ticket to be on a bus for 12 hours.
That's so what? So again, I asked the question: if the wedding was $70,000, was the bus tour part of the cost, or was that something they gave you with the $333?
Yes, that's what it include. It was part of the $333. I think what they had to do was figure out a way to give someone a little something extra besides just showing up at the wedding. I mean, my good, $70,000, Tony.
So they said, "Hey, come to our wedding, pay us to come to our wedding, and we'll throw in this tour for free." How many of them left with an Amway downline? What the? Honestly, that they left with a timeshare.
Yeah,
you're not kidding.
It's crazy. I'm not a fan of destination weddings. I think that's rude.
I guess it depends on the destination and if it's small and if you really know the people well, right? If it's a couple that you know and they're bringing like, hey, we just want to get married over in this place and we've invited like 14 people, so if you can come, man, we'd love to have you.
If they're cool about it,
right?
If they are understanding, if there's, listen, I'm getting married in the Bahamas, we'd love for you to be there. But then not be ticked off if they're the only 2 people standing on the beach and no one else showed up, because that's a lot to ask. And then on top of it, are you supposed to give someone a gift if you go to their destination wedding?
Absolutely not. There's no way someone has a destination wedding and then says gifts required. Also, I would not have paid the $333 and I wouldn't have gone to the wedding. The $70,000 wedding. No.
Well, travel is expensive, Tony.
And that
you know.
is.
And a lot of times nowadays, people are traveling with friends to try to help cut costs.
Oh, so they're like splitting gas money?
Splitting gas money and other travel expenses. TheCut.com has a piece. How to travel with friends without coming home as enemies.
Oh, the correct answer to that is bourbon. A tremendous amount of bourbon. Possibly a vape pen, but I can't. I don't think I can be promoting that on radio, so I won't.
I want to skip to number 2 on the list.
Right?
Stay in separate rooms. I have made the mistake when I was in my 20s of trying to cut costs by sharing a room, and it was a disaster. A 4-day vacation, and it's a vacation. and you're trying to cut costs. You share a room with somebody, and then you're completely tied to the hip with your pal and your friend. And if it's a couple, it's even worse. So I think that's sound advice.
You're in a couple and you would share a room with another couple?
I went to Las Vegas with another couple, and it was, money was tight, and I was.
You were young.
Yeah, I was young. I was in my 20s. Went with my fiance at the time and a couple, and it was Las Vegas, New Year's Eve. I don't know if you checked the hotel rates for New Year's Eve in Las Vegas. Pretty pricey. Shared a room with them. Terrible mistake.
Yes.
Have you ever done that?
Shared a room? No, of course not. But we make mistakes in our 20s, like moving ourselves. We make mistakes. You realize in your 30s, I'm going to need to hire a mover. I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, here's another tip. If you bail on the trip last minute, you still pay your share.
Absolutely. I bail, therefore I don't have to pay. The deal was done. You made the deal. You didn't follow through. Of course you pay. But what I like about those moments is that if they don't pay, that whatever you had to cover, well, that was the cost for getting out of the friendship, and it's worth it. It's in every way worth it.
So for my high school graduation, I had a choice of my parents said, we'll throw you a party or you can go on a trip.
And where'd you go?
Cancun. So me, a buddy of mine, and another buddy, we booked the trip, and then he backed out last minute.
Oh.
Ended the friendship.
Right.
Ended the friendship. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, we were around his parents. His parents were excited for him. He met a girl. And the girl did not want him to go to Cancun.
That's the sign that you're with the wrong girl. It's Letterkenny. You trust them until they give you a reason not to. And if you're questioning that, you shouldn't be with the person anyway.
We're like, you're 18, dude. Seriously. What are you going to do, marry her? He ended up marrying her. But still. We were ticked.
Have they gotten divorced yet?
No. They're still together.
Still time.
I'm guessing at this point they're just together out of spite because they know at some point if they got divorced, we would be like, see, you should have gone to Cancun.
Girl would have been back. She would have been there when you got back.
Exactly.
And a friendship could have blossomed. But no. You know what? You're better off without him.
Thank you. We could have been in America's next great boy band.
You could have been, but you're not.
No.
Smoking from Plasencia, the Alma. Which one is this? The Alma del Fuego. Sorry. The Ometepe with that tobacco that comes in the volcanic soil, grown in the volcanic soil. $100 a stick. It's a nice cigar. It really is a nice cigar. We've got it paired with the Bumbu Crème Liqueur, the Bumbu rum. And it's with the coconut and the chewy, creamy thing going on. Just a joyous pairing. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media, on Twitter at Go Eat, Drink, Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Smoke, and Instagram at Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast.